If you think to yourself that I've completed this 1 year course, or I've completed this 6 months course, or I've completed this 2 years course, I don't need to learn anything new again, you're going to be in for a big shock, a shocker. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and another end of month vlog episode. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys 4 must-have skills every good pattern drafter needs to have. That is, to be a good pattern drafter, you must have these 4 skills. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do so now by tapping the subscribe button right below your screen and tap the like button if you found today's video helpful. And number 1 on my list of skills you need to have to be a good pattern drafter is patience. As a pattern drafter, you need to have lots and lots of patience to be a good pattern drafter. Really, you need to have lots and lots of patience, because if you are looking at pattern drafting and all the steps involved, and what comes to your mind is that this is too stressful, or I can't be, oh my gosh, I can't be bothered with this, or something like I need to just cut my clothes sharp and just move on to the next thing. If that's what goes through your mind, I'll just like to tell you that pattern drafting may not be for you. You'll be better off with freehand cutting. You'll find what you're looking for in freehand cutting, and I've talked about that before in one of my previous videos where I laid out the differences between pattern drafting and freehand cutting. You can check that out by following the link up on your screen right now, because really pattern drafting is not wuru-wuru to the answer. There are steps involved and you can't even skip steps. There are some steps involved to make good blocks or good patterns, and then if you skip those steps, you'll be inviting disaster into your pattern making. So you have to be willing to invest time in it and have loads of patience to be a good pattern drafter. Most of the people I've seen that are usually impatient with pattern drafting are mostly people who learn freehand cutting, or that are very good with freehand cutting, and then they just feel like I think I want to learn pattern drafting. I just want to learn a little bit of pattern drafting so that I can mix the two together when I'm cutting. That is, when they are cutting, they want to mix freehand cutting with pattern drafting. I'm here to tell you that it is not possible at all to mix pattern drafting and freehand cutting, because they are two different things, totally different things, and I've tried it before. I've tried mixing the two before, and really I got burnt. If you want to be a really good pattern drafter, you have to be willing to drop your freehand cutting at the doorstep. Like, you really need to have loads of patience, and you have to be willing to unlearn to relearn. If not, you're better off sticking to freehand cutting. The second thing you need to be a good pattern drafter is to develop your critical thinking skills. Like, you need to be, you have to be willing to sit still to dissect designs. Like, you have to be willing to sit still and dissect designs and figure out, look at a design and figure out, how did they do this? How did they do that? How will I draw this on my flat pattern to achieve this design that I'm looking at? Because pattern drafting sets you up to be able to stand alone. You don't always need to have somebody telling you, oh, this is this, you have to do this, you have to do that, or your neckline has to be 3x3 or 4x4, because there's really nothing like that in pattern cutting. You draft in whatever style line you want to make according to how you wish to have it. And how do you learn to stand alone and be good at pattern drafting? You have to develop your critical thinking skills and also be able to tap into your creativity. To be a good pattern drafter, you can't be scared of making mistakes. You have to be willing to experiment. Like, if you have been watching my tutorials before, you will see that sometimes when I'm explaining some designs, I don't always say, oh, this is set in stone, you have to do it exactly this way. If you feel like, oh, I'm making like a neckline, I'm showing you a tutorial of a neckline that is like here, and you feel like, oh, you don't want the neckline to be here, you want it to be here, you are free to do whatever it is you want, as long as you are going to make a mock-up before you like make that final design you want. You're going to make a sample of whatever it is you are doing before you cut it on your final fabric. You are good to go. It's just paper, so you have to be willing to just do something on your pattern. You have to be willing to just say, if I draw this line this way, what is it, how is my final clothes going to, how is my final design going to look like. So you have to just be willing to do things on your pattern to just see what it's going to look like at the end. So when you make that and you make your samples, that is where you see, oh, okay, there's a fitting issue here, there's a fitting issue, and you fix all of that on your mock-up before you make your final outfit. So to be a good pattern drafter, you have to be willing to experiment and develop your critical thinking skills to be able to dissect designs, whatever design you want to make. Number 3 on my list of skills you need to have to be a good pattern drafter is to be willing to commit to a lifetime of study. Learning to be a good pattern drafter doesn't end the day you finish from fashion school or the day you completed that short online course. Because if you think to yourself that I've completed this 1 year course, or I've completed this 6 months course, or I've completed this 2 years course, I don't need to learn anything new again, you're going to be in for a big shock, a shocker. Because you really cannot learn everything about pattern drafting at once. So while developing your critical thinking skills, you need to be willing to commit yourself to a lifetime of study so that you can keep improving in your skill as a pattern drafter. If you like reading, you need to get a variety of advanced fashion textbooks like Pattern Making for Fashion Designers by Ellen Joseph Armstrong, for example. But if you don't like reading, you have to be willing to commit to taking online courses from time to time. And when I say online courses, I'm not saying you have to like enroll for every online course you see every month online. What I mean by that is that maybe like once in 2 years you can just think and figure out, look at yourself and figure out where you think you are lacking, in your pattern making skills, and then you find a course that would address that issue. Maybe you are thinking, I think I want to learn more about that manipulation, how to use that manipulation to create mind-blowing and explosive designs in different ways. So you look for a course that is going to teach something like that, and you enroll for that. You take that course and improve your skills. So maybe in another 2 years again you think about, I think I need to develop something else, and then you take a course. So I'm not saying take a course every month or every 2 months. Maybe like once in 2 years should be just fine. So all you need is to just keep evolving. That's what I mean. Now the 4th and final thing you need to do to be a good pattern drafter is to practice. To be a good pattern maker, you need to be willing to practice frequently. As you are studying, you are practicing. You put pen to paper, you have to be hands-on. Practice frequently. You need to practice so much till it becomes a part of you. You need to practice so much that if you are sleeping and somebody wakes you up from sleep to come and make patterns, you are very ready to do that. And then again, you don't need to wait till somebody tells you to make something for them before you start trying to practice that design. Maybe you see a design online that you like, pick up your paper, try to draft the pattern and see if you are going to get the design. If you don't get it, you try again and you try again and you try again with your mock-ups and your pattern. That's how you become a really good pattern drafter, because practice makes perfect. That's all I've got for you today, guys. If you found this video helpful, please tap the like button. That's important, please. Don't forget to also tap the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel, and turn on the notifications bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming tutorials when I post them. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.